Hi, I'm MJ from Lioness Publications. Thank you for listening. Today, we're going to continue with the possible flashpoints across the globe. We're going to be covering North Korea. North Korea, as many of you know, is a very isolated, very locked down country. Very difficult to get information on what they are doing there, what they're seeing, what their medical conditions are, what the conditions of the people are. We have some news reports, but very difficult to ascertain whether it's true or not. Now, they are developing or have developed a nuclear weapon that can reach the United States. So it is a concern. Just recently, news was put out that the previous Trump administration had tried to land a team of special forces to actually plant some type of device that would be able to listen in on conversations there. I can only assume that that was not taken well when it was leaked out into the newspapers by the North Korean leader. We haven't seen any reaction. As far as I know, I haven't heard any statements coming from that country. But again, they have their own set of procedures they follow. So let's start off with some of the stuff that happened before they came to the summit. And that was on August 1st. So on August 1st, they had Jupiter squaring Neptune. And this Jupiter is very expansive. Neptune, when it's in a difficult angle, can indicate that you're not being very realistic. So maybe they had grand visions of what would happen during this summit. Some unrealistic expectations, and maybe propaganda was feeding into that. And this also has a little a nuance of what a nation believes with what is actually happening. So the nation, we don't know what the people there believe. We don't know if they have been fed propaganda that the whole world is against them, that the whole world is going to attack them. We don't know. So that's kept within the country itself. It's a very closed off country. Now, on 8/2, August 2nd, we had Saturn trying Venus, which is actually, it's a great angle. It means that they're reassessing their values. They're looking at their alliances. They're looking at their identity. So a lot of things in identity versus, their social communities. So their people as a whole. Saturn indicates that maybe they're going to try to put together reforms that could benefit the people. And not just the people itself, but maybe things that are fun to do. Sort of like artistic type things, social gathering type things. And recently they did open up some type of amusement area at one of the beaches they have. So it is something, it seems that they're going in that direction. Next thing we have on 8/23 is Neptune is trying Venus. So this is actually another great angle. Neptune is visions of things, idealism, what you'd like to see. And this sort of says, just sort of a cultural uplifting. So that's actually very nice. And since I don't know much about North Korea, I'm finding this a little difficult to believe. But I'm assuming it is maybe something that's happening within the country, maybe in just certain areas. So maybe they are trying to uplift some areas of their country. Now, near the end of the month, at around 8/27, August 27th, we have Saturn squaring Uranus. And this is tension between the institutions and change, so modernizing, being revolutionary, being innovative. In this case, chances are the institutions, the traditional things will win out. Because the square is saying there's tension here. North Korea is a country that likes to have things a certain way, and innovation is not something they tend to pursue. But it could be that since they are dealing or they're just coming out of the summit, that it is something they want to move towards, that they want to make their country better. Now, after that, we have Jupiter on 9/13, September 13th, Jupiter in conjunct Jupiter. Even though this is a Jupiter and, Jupiter is involved, which is typically a planet that gives you opportunities, or the energies give you opportunities. In this case, they're opportunities that can't be used. So either you can't get to the opportunities, or they're not able to be used in the form they are, or maybe what you have can't be turned into opportunities. So it means there are things there, but it's like you're either, not able to use it, or it's not what you need at that time. Now, we also have on 9/13, September 13th, Pluto opposing Venus. This is a tough one. It's a difficult angle. This is Pluto. This is control, manipulation, power coming down on what? Could be social gatherings, communities. So this is the heavy hand of power coming down. So it could be a diplomatic isolation. So maybe they were starting to come out a little bit, and maybe they were sort of reaching to maybe try to get some innovation, and maybe the door just slammed shut. We don't know. But this seems to be they're going back into an isolation mode. Maybe they can't see how to deal with bringing innovation in, or changes, or trade. Now, the next thing we have on 9/15 is Saturn in conjunct Saturn. So we had Jupiter in conjunct, now we have Saturn in conjunct. Saturn is the institutions. In effect, can't work with the institutions. So you're trying to get things done, put procedures, rules, ways to build roads, to do things, and you can't. Your institutions just are not working well. So in effect, they need to be adjusted. They need to have probably some innovation here. So the structures of what's there are just not based in reality anymore. Maybe they were okay for decades ago, but not anymore. Now, on 10/11, October 11th, we have Neptune squaring Uranus. Here's again that shift. Uranus is the innovation, but Neptune is the illusion of what you can do. So Neptune, they're thinking they can do this. But what happens is that their vision is not going along with what is necessary to get it done. Maybe the innovation, or maybe, in effect, the rebellion. So Uranus has two parts to it, innovation, rebellion. In a difficult angle, it can be rebellion. So in this case, what happens is their vision of what they want to accomplish is just not doable without having innovation. And that means that, in effect, they're not going to be able to do it. When you move to 10/30, October 30th, we have a progression. Progression is Venus trine Uranus. Awesome. It's just a great angle. It means that we have sort of the social graces. We have communities. In effect, moving towards what? Innovation. Making things better. Bringing new things in. So this is nice. It's an openness. So it could be at some point that country leaders decide to maybe try to open up some diplomatic channels. Maybe they decide to have some trade coming in. Maybe they decide to attend other summits. But there seems to be some opening here. And again, that 10/30 date is difficult because it's a progression. Progression can take a long time to form, a long time to go away. So it's not something where it happens and you see it. It's more something that just builds up. And I think this has likely been building up from the summit. It's just they didn't know how to deal with it. So they sort of say, well, we don't want it, then we want it, we don't want it. And they slowly say, well, maybe we'll open things up a bit. Now, on 11/10, November 10th of 25, we have Pluto opposing Venus coming back. So again, maybe they're opening things up, but now they say, nope, shut things down. Pluto, again, they want control over the masses. So Venus is the social and, entities, the ability to have fun, social graces. It's the communities you have. In effect, Pluto coming on that means they're shutting it down. Could be afraid of rebellion or just revolt. Now on 1118, we have a solar arc, and that's Saturn square Pluto. This deals with power dynamics. So here we're looking at the institutions, and they're not working anymore. And unfortunately, changing the institutions means changing the power structures, which means chances are the leaders of the country are not going to want to do that. So they need to upgrade institutions, but unfortunately that leads to what? Changes in control. So we have changes of power dynamics, structural pressure to be able to change these institutions. Now Saturn here is sort of like the enforcer and the reformer. So it's trying to get things done, but what's going to be blocking it? Power dynamics of the country. Now, next we have on December 14th, we have Uranus is actually square Saturn. Oh, this is Uranus like blowing up Saturn. Square is difficult. Uranus is that change, the innovation, and it's trying to change what? The institutions, the procedures that aren't working. It wants to make things better. So Uranus is really pushing this here. So around this time, you might see disruption in the country, some civil unrest. So the country needs to evolve, and that's why Uranus is there. So it needs to change the institutions. So in general, I'm seeing, and this is up to the end of this year, I'm seeing more of the result of the summit occurring to the country, and the country trying to identify how to handle it. Do they want to open their country up a little bit? But then I think if they move that way, they're very worried about bringing in elements that they can't control. And that's a big deal. So that control issue is showing up here, trying to make things better for their people and affect in themselves. But if they make things better for their people, the people might revolt. So difficult place that they're finding themselves in. And I think they might open up diplomatic channels. They might try to approach other countries, maybe friendlier countries to them, not the U.S., to just sort of put their feet in the water a little bit. Now, one thing I noted, I didn't see anything, outside, what I was seeing is more in their country trying to deal with things. But I do see significant Pluto-Mars angle occurring in less than 2 years. And that's something to watch for. So it definitely will be a flashpoint, but it's still a ways off. So we'll take a look at it again before it comes up. And we'll see what might be, happening that could be causing that flashpoint. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great evening. Bye now.